So today we are welcoming Kimberly, and Kimberly is an expert, and she's going to share her story about how this came to be as far as being a adult nurse practitioner. She's focused on the woman's body, particularly because of some things that she has experienced, but also because that's just in your DNA to do what you can for women. She has the Cunningham clinic right there across from the Gold Building on Colorado. I myself am a client. We've been friends for like 20 something years, and this woman has been trying to get me to take better care of my health forever. And it wasn't until my mom had her stroke in 2023 that I thought, you know what? I need to take better care of myself because strokes run in my family, especially in the African-American community. And it was time for me to lose the weight. Plus my cardiologist was like, you really need to lose the weight. You got a little plaque happening that's, encroaching in on your heart. So, and I was pre-diabetic, all the things, and I lost the weight. I am on the shots. I will talk about those all day, every day. I have no shame in the game that I am on the Mounjaro compound through her, and I'm no longer pre-diabetic, right? And my cardiologist said to me, I don't think I need to see you for 20 years. He was joking, but still, he said that's how good this looks. So and the HRT, you finally got me on the HRT. How many of you are on HRT? How many of you will go off of HRT sometime soon? Right? Ooh-wee. Let's just say those of you that have husbands and wives and others, I'm sure your sex life is very good because the HRT is a thing. But also it gave me energy and things. And so I want to say thank you to Kimberly. Come on up and over. Okay. You are now also seeing NFL players. I've gone in there. I'm sure a couple of us have seen some big ball players walking through those doors.
Oh God, they're ginormous. Oh, I have to buy a bigger bed.
Anybody who's bigger than me.
Okay, you said seeing, and I just...
Well, your husband's also big.
I need a treatment bed in my clinic that is larger for those. Let me be clear. Yeah, there's a couple of active players on a couple of different NFL teams that either will come over during the season or fly in. That I do some, it's a cell line therapy. They're called exosomes. I do treatments on them so they can get back on the field.
Yeah, that thing. Exo what?
Yeah, I'll be louder.
Who said that? You knew? Oh, look at you. Oh, God. Oh, scientist. Okay, got it.
And they are, they're 400 pounds. Not overweight. These are behemoths of humans. That's why they are on the line, either the offensive line or the defensive line.
Yeah. And the CRT, or not CRT, the concussion.
So that study is probably going to go in 2026.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a study with exosomes and a low intensity focused ultrasound helmet to see if we can reverse chronic traumatic encephalopathy in retired football players. We've been waiting on the device. And I'm running that study, even though I am not a neurologist, but I'm really good at logistics and somebody has to do this. So I'm doing it.
Leave it to a woman to get the answer, right?
That's for next year. And
tell us about, before we dive into the questions, first let's take a step back, because those folks who might not have seen your story that CBS Colorado did on you just before our big event, Bill's Life Con, you shared and also literally still had a baggie of the things that were in your body. Yep. So let's talk about what happened to you at some point in your life where you were broken, literally.
Yep, I was in pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set these down for now. A normal pregnancy is 40 weeks. And with our second, with our son Andrew, at between 20 and 22 weeks, all three joints that hold your pelvis together, there's the pubic symphysis in the front and the SI joints in the back, which is short for iliosacral, on me spontaneously failed. Spontaneously split apart. It's called an open book fracture if you're run over by a bus. And mine happened because of a day that ended in Y. And so over 10 days, I went from rounding on buildings in the practice that I was with and, playing with a cute little, he was like this big, little tiny baby bump, and planning the nursery to go to DEFCON 1. You can't walk, you can't move, you have got to grow this baby, and it's a disaster, and we don't know what to do about it. And I went, what? That's not a plan. And so got through the pregnancy. He's fine, by the way. He gets his driving permit on Tuesday. Woohoo! So he just turned 15, but he was born early. I made it to 36 weeks in 1 day, so he was about a month early. And we couldn't quite figure it out. And after a while, we figured out I have a collagen defect disorder called Ehlers-Danlos. And so that's what made my joints not stable enough. And then I made relaxin too soon in that pregnancy and in buckets, because apparently I was a cow in a former life. I make a lot of milk when I have babies. And then it's a thing. And then I have a congenital misshapen pelvis that we didn't know about. So that was the...
Is that a thing?
Yeah, my pelvis...
can other people have this? Is this a normal, like some 1 out of 5 has a...
No, this is like a 1 in more than a million chance.
Wow.
Of these 3 things coalescing in a pregnancy. So lottery odds, but without the money. But a really cute kid. So it took 2 years before we figured out what was wrong, and interviewing many different pelvic fusion surgeons before we could get the one who even know what to do about it. Wade Smith at Swedish saved my life. He's amazing. Wow. So that was a series of 10 surgeries, getting hit with a chisel and a hammer, sounding hardware that's this long, and I'm not that big. So it would...
Regular screws, which she showed me, I was like, what? That's like Home Depot in your body.
It really is. You could build a house with these things. I should have brought him. You could see him.
Oh, you should have.
Should have.
While you were pregnant, you had the surgery?
Nope. When he was 18 months, we started the surgeries. And that took over 2 years. By the way, I didn't walk at all.
You had a dog to help you walk.
Yeah, I had a brace and balance dog to go short distances, but anything longer than a block and a half, I was in a wheelchair for almost 4 years. And just to rewind, 2 years before we got pregnant with Andrew, I had a top 10 triathlon finish. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind hard. Right. I don't mind work. Mm-hmm. You know, you want to go from here to here. You break down the steps. Some of them might be a little more challenging than others. Buckle up. Let's do it, right? You just do the things. It didn't matter how I ate. It didn't matter how long I went to physical therapy. It didn't matter how deep I dug to just try some more. Mm-hmm. It turns out it was never going to be enough. I went to this lab review class because I was thinking about going back to a half shift a week, once a week in the urgent care.
When you say that, where were you working?
I wasn't working anywhere.
When did you start nursing?
Oh, I started working in healthcare in 2000. So I've been doing this for 25 years.
Got it.
But Kaiser wanted me to come back and pick up half shifts in the urgent care. It turns out I'm really good at sewing people, not actual clothes. But so I thought, well, maybe I could do that because I could do the walker or a cane, and they would let me with some disability accommodations. And it was just not going to ever be enough. And I went to a lab review class, and I sat next to the cute bag way up on the left. And it turned out to be this woman I'd gone to grad school with. And she knew me when I was running and cycling and doing all the things. And I'm on a walker, and she goes, what happened?
Wow.
And on a break, she says, why aren't you doing BioT? Why aren't you doing testosterone? And I said, huh? What's that? And I don't make less than 100 on a test. And if I do, it's because the question was worded wrong, because I'm that kind of nerd. You want me on your Trivial Pursuit team. Not for karaoke, because I cannot sing, but Trivial Pursuit, I got. And so I got my labs drawn. I thought, okay, well, that's weird. You know, I always do the right labs, and my labs are fine. They're always fine. I'm not fine, but my labs are fine. You know, so I was in the same position so many of my patients who walk in the door is. Specialist after specialist after specialist. And I'm like, I can't get it back. I'm doing all the things. I promise I'm doing the things. And I've heard have you thought about cutting carbs? Have you thought about taking an antidepressant? Keep going. Have you, just ridiculous things. Have you thought about eating more protein? I'm like, I'm getting 140 grams of protein a day. This is ridiculous. And so my testosterone, by the way, a woman's total testosterone should be anywhere from 50 to 150 to 200 for a total. We can go as high as 250. But really, it's that free testosterone, which is free to work. And you have to get some special labs to get to that data. My total testosterone was 7. And my free was 0. That is why they had to do so many surgeries on me. I didn't have the ability to grow bone around these bolts and screws for them to anchor in.
Oof.
This is why elderly people have failed joint replacement surgeries. Because they don't have enough testosterone to build bone. Without testosterone, you cannot build bone. This is why women become osteoporotic decades before men do, and men do as well. Because women lose their testosterone way before they lose their estrogen.
Wow.
Yeah.
So testosterone helps with good bone health.
Yeah, women need both testosterone.
Not just
and
for the
estrogen.
libido.
Right, it's for both. So
Just saying.
I got my testosterone replaced, and within 3 weeks, I woke up and it was like somebody stole my pain. Pain was gone.
Wow.
Testosterone is the most powerful anti-inflammatory you can put in somebody.
Wow.
3 weeks after that, I started getting a bicep, and by the way, I'd quit going to physical therapy because it was just awful, and it wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, there's muscles coming back, and I'm going to book club and drinking wine.
Yes.
It was a little book that month. And so I told Kaiser, hold that thought, I'm gonna open a clinic, and because nobody's doing this. This was almost 10 years ago. I'm like, nobody's doing this in Denver.
When you say doing this, you mean
Hormonal.
Hormonal.
Well, that includes testosterone for women. Lots of people were doing patches and creams and pills with just estrogen or intravaginal estrogen, but they weren't doing a program that included testosterone for women.
I thought that's what HRT is.
Hormone replacement therapy should include all of the hormones, but the bulk of the recommendations for women since the 1940s has been estrogen-based only.
Oh.
Yep. Because Premarin and Prempro became a thing. And there was lots of good marketing on that drug.
Lots of good money.
And so they said, oh, testosterone's for men, estrogen is for women. Here's our marketing plan, and it's stuck.
Interesting.
So I'm trying to undo
Yeah.
about 80 years worth of wrong data. So I started a clinic. I have a team of 8 now. I was in one room initially for the first 3 years, and now we have a whole suite, and we're opening a satellite in Commerce City later this year.
And then,
I know. Thank you.
hey, Commerce City has really grown. My
Yeah.
goodness, all the new stuff and the new
We're looking
homes.
at
That was my
Northfield,
squirrel
Commerce
moment.
City, that area. And,
Oh, I didn't know that. That's it.
but I am not going there. It's going to be Eileen. But Eileen is amazing, and that's right where she is.
But it's a Cunningham clinic.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, actually 3 of my team members will open that satellite.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we're growing, and it's great. And I wrote a book, and everybody gets to have a copy of the book. If I didn't bring enough, I'll get you one.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Stand by.
And I teach at University of Colorado, and I teach for Regis, and I also teach for BioT Medical, which is an education company for providers to go and learn about how to do hormone replacement therapy. So when they get certified in this, I'm one of the 8 faculty members
Wow.
for that. And I teach across the United States for that.
So knowing that, Kimberly, what are some of the latest trends in women's health that we should know about? What are you seeing? What are you? I don't know if it's called prescribing, but what are you helping women with the most? And what's really hot and out there? I don't know if you could say hot, even though I use that in marketing.
So with my practice, it's not just the sex hormones. I mean, they matter. But we do a whole head to toe. We do a whole functional wellness panel of labs. I'm checking thyroid, not the way that Western medicine checks thyroid, which is just the TSH, which tells you nothing. It's what is the thyroid producing? What is the conversion to active out in the body? And then a simple thing like ferritin. Do you have the molecule responsible for pulling the free T3 into the cell? You could have a perfect thyroid, a perfect conversion, but if you're iron deficient, you're still hypothyroid symptomatically. So you have to check where things fail, where they're known to fail, and then you can fix it in the right way. We check vitamin D, lipids. We're also going to start recommending a calcium screen for our patients. We're going to start checking VO2 max, which is exercise and oxygen carrying capacity in our patients, and we've got a way that you can do that on your own.
What is that?
VO2 max.
And what does it do?
That's the
It's
volume
oxygen?
of oxygen, that maximum volume of oxygen that your blood can carry. And there's a formula, it's called the Rockport test, and we have a whole printout. If you can walk a mile, then you can do your own VO2 max, and it tells you how to do it, and you plug in all the numbers, you do the formula. If you don't want to do it, there's actual apps that will do it for you for free.
Tell us why that's
And
important.
If you can get your VO2 max from the lower 3 tiers into any of the upper 3 tiers, you will reduce your all-cause mortality in the next 10 years by 70%.
Say what again?
There's nothing more important you can do for longevity lifespan and health span than exercise. Your exercise will reduce Alzheimer's risk, will reduce cardiovascular disease risk, will reduce diabetes risk. These are the things that kill us as humans. So if you can check your heart health by walking a mile and doing this formula, that gives us, in my clinic, a really good, okay, here's how aggressive we need to be with getting you better.
They also, is that where, as an asthmatic, I'm sure there's quite a few in the room, they also check our oxygen levels by putting that, is that what you're doing? You put that little thing on the finger to check our oxygen levels? Is that what it's doing?
It's a pulse oximeter to see what your oxygen level is at that moment. Yeah.
Is that similar? Nope. Even though that's for the lungs, to check our...
That's just how much oxygen is in your blood because you're alive. I want to know what you can do under duress.
Under duress. You
got to walk a mile as fast as you can.
Wow.
You shouldn't check your VO2 max the first time you walk a mile.
Okay.
Right. Get out there and walk a mile regularly.
Because you need to see a trend.
Well, no, you just need to be able to do it.
Oh.
So get out there. Walk a mile for, 3 or 4 times a week. Get out there and walk, and get up to where you can really walk as fast as you can. Then you have a way to measure time and a way to measure your heart rate at the end, which is just to watch with the second hand and 2 fingers on your neck. Okay, that just started talking to me.
Yeah, it sure did.
And then you plug it all in. So you don't want to just bust out a Rockport test having never walked a mile. It's not a good data point. But go out for a while, exercise for a while, walk for a while, and then check and see. What I love about the Rockport is you don't have to be a runner. You don't have to be a cyclist. You just have to be able to check, are you being a good steward of your cardiovascular health? And just check it a couple of times a year, and it's free. The only other way we used to be able to get that was if you went to the lab and they put this god-awful thing on your face and all the electrodes on your body, and you're on a bike or you're on a treadmill, and it's like, it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. And that's $3,000, and you get 1 data point.
What?
If you want another data point, come back. And it's another $3,000, 2 hours in the lab, and so I like free. So those are the trends.
You like saving your clients moolah.
I do.
While doing the best and best of best.
So the hottest things right now in what I do, which is functional wellness, is how to get a calcium score on a patient, which I think we just figured out a way to get it for $100. Thank you very much. Used to be $400 without insurance. So how can we get a picture of, is there plaque in the heart? And so now we can get that for around $100. How can we check your VO2 max that isn't this stupid $3,000 that nobody wants to drop on that? That's a trip somewhere. Take your trip, right?
Yeah.
Or a really nice couch. Like $3,000 is a lot of fun.
Hello.
And
great down payment on.
So the trends are, how can we measure the body in ways that we can affect positive change that will get you not only to make more laps around the sun and live longer, but do it in a body that's working. So we're really focused in on what can we measure, and we only measure what we can actually change. I can measure all kinds of things, but if I can't do anything about it, we just wasted time and money. So we're currently working on measuring the things that have been proven to not only increase years, but quality.
When you say, and I love the name that you changed your client, your company to, has the word longevity in it. So it's not like the traditional places in the market that are promoting all the other, what is the tag, or what is your tagline again? It's something longevity, something.
Which one? I have a few. We're working on the website right now. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
I just like the fact that you put longevity in it versus
healthy aging.
Healthy aging, which is, the longevity economy is $1 billion industry these days. Thank you, because of the stat that I gave earlier, and because so many of us are living longer. We live until, I think they say the average age is 82.2. Now, there's lots of things that say
that's women.
Different. Yeah, for women.
Women is 82.
Men is in the 70s.
Men is in the 70s. The current average lifespan is 77 and a half years.
77 and a half years.
And the current average age of functional decline in the United States is in the late 40s.
What does that look like? What does that look like when you say decline?
If you look at a chart.
So what's that based on?
So there's lifespan, right? And then there's your health span underneath it. How functional are you? Can you walk up a flight of stairs? Can you have sex? Can you engage in a sports activity? Can you garden? Can you play your instrument? Can you remember things like the functional, can you dress yourself and do your own activities of daily living? Can you cook for yourself? Can you do the things? And so the average age of decline from being fully functioning is in the United States is in the late 40s.
Wow. So knowing that,
what we do is I want here's your health span, your lifespan, and I want your health span to be good about a week before you die, then you tank. That's it. So literally everything I do is to make those two lines converge. And everything I do is for that.
What are the simplest of simplest things that we can do as women and humans to maintain a good health span? Is it just walking a certain amount of, steps a day or minutes a day or?
Well, that's my whole second book that comes out in October.
I'm so excited for you.
I spent 2 hours today with my editor. She's great. I love Linda. Yeah, so that's.
She's in my book club. She was talking about your book club.
You know Linda.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, you know Linda. I love her.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
very.
it's more of a wine club.
Linda and I so many times are like, okay, as soon as we're done with this second book, we have to actually just be wine buddies. Because right now we're business, so we don't do that. But
I'm surprised ours hasn't turned into wine. Yeah. We get serious about those books.
So there's a ton of information in that book, and we'll probably have to do another.
Okay.
There's VO2 max is a part of it.
But I mean, just tell us right now, what is the most basic thing for those?
Know your numbers, get your labs.
Know your numbers, get your labs, and then as far as your body working out, basics.
Lift weights at least once a week and lift heavy if you're.
For how long? Would you say?
Until you die.
No, I mean in the gym. How long of lifting weights? Is it 30 minutes or is it a certain? That's what I mean.
Sorry, my parents are visiting and my mom's like, how long do I have to do this? I'm like, forever.
You are sassy, Tay.
Oh, wow. Spent 2 days with my mom. I love her. She's great. So in the gym, probably 45 minutes, but it's lifting heavy head to toe. And if you don't know how, get a trainer. Women need to lift heavy. But if you don't have testosterone, do not go lift heavy.
Oh, because you'll break something.
You'll just hurt yourself. Working out is breaking down to build back up. If you don't have testosterone on board, you're only breaking down. So what happens is, and I see these women all the time, they'll walk in and they hit these milestones. My kids finally left for college, or I just can't stand it anymore. I'm just gonna hunker down and do the things. And then they just go all in at the gym. And they buy protein shakes. And they buy the keto pills, because they think that'll do it. Or the gummies or the whatever. And they get the trainer. And they just do everything that everybody tells them to do.
Or TikTok.
And here's where it's really bad. When they finally come and find me, I have to break the bad news that they were getting fatter faster than the couch potatoes.
Oh.
Because when you're going that hard and you have no testosterone on board, you are losing muscle mass, which lowers your metabolic rate, which means you're just to stay alive goes from 1,500 calories a day to like 700.
Oh, wow.
And that's 2 trips to the kitchen, maybe.
Wow.
Or one trip to Starbucks if you get a little bit fancy. And that's it, that's all you get. And everything after that is going to stick because you have no way to burn it off because you don't have muscles. So I always keep 3 lab coats at work because sometimes I get the ugly cry, makeup all over this. I'm a hugger. Sometimes people just need hugs, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, it's also a lot of wasted time and money. Because personal trainers aren't cheap. So first is are the systems functioning? Number 1. And then number 2, women need to lift at least once a week. And here's where it's better for women than men. If you lift heavy once a week, that's all you really need for longevity. Men need to do it twice. We finally win one.
Finally.
Yes. But I always recommend getting a trainer if you don't know how to lift heavy, little 2-pound weights. That's not going to work. And then
let's talk about
that VO2 max is checking, are you being a good steward? Because I say every day, move with joy. Do something that makes you happy. Pickleball, hot yoga, dance class, whatever it is that makes you happy.
Our dancer in the room.
That's what we go together.
Oh, you guys go together?
It's hip hop.
Oh my God, because she studied that at NYU. Let's talk about menopause.
Yep.
People don't like to talk about it. I like to talk about it because it is a part of it's a part of who we are. We can't escape it. Don't know why or how it came to be that I guess we can all figure out why it came to be that no one was talking about it or didn't want to talk about it. Because for women, it made us seem like it was the proof that we were old. if we were in menopause, which reminds me of the card game Old Maid. Do you guys remember Old Maid?
Yeah.
Oh my God, to think we used to play Old Maid. Oh my goodness, but then you have the Halle Berrys of the world that have launched a menopause company, who's also in Congress and Senate. I don't get politics to that point where I don't understand which one she's at. Doing all the things to make sure that we're getting menopause as part of the conversation. Is she launching something?
The Oprah special.
The Oprah special.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
That was
yes, you're right.
So good.
And then you've got Stacey London, who started State of Menopause. Basically everybody's finally, including stars and celebrities and those that can get the word out faster than us, talking about it. Let's talk about it here. What can you tell us to educate? So it's not just, why aren't we talking about it? Because I kind of answered that.
Yes.
But
well, here's something.
Tell us more.
So in the United States, we don't celebrate in pop culture or media or really anywhere the wise elder. Like that's, I think since Grandpa Walton.
In Asia,
they
it's
haven't
the
had
thing.
a wise elder.
Right.
And yes, and so here's what's interesting, and this is one of the things that Linda and I were talking about today, which is the middle-aged mindset, if you will. And so I don't know if anybody did developmental psychiatry or psychology and Piaget and these concrete trust versus mistrust and all these different. He was a developmental psychiatrist. So all of these milestones, and anybody who has raised kids or has been a part of that knows that you have these stages that the kids have to hit. And that adolescence is really the time where you start getting really abstract and illogical thoughts. And so that's why they get jokes, right? Elementary kids don't get jokes because everything's concrete. And so that's actually kind of fun when they don't get the jokes. But adolescents start to get the jokes, and then we go all the way to this prefrontal cortex, which is a structure in the brain that doesn't actually come online until later adolescence and is fully formed about age 25. And that is your consequences of action part of your brain, right? Which really comes online in women 18 to 22, and men is 25, which is why college-age boys are not always the best decision makers. Because they have literally a part of their brain that's the consequences of action doesn't exist yet. And so then Piaget stopped. And a lot of the...
What is Piaget?
Jean Piaget. He's Dr. Piaget.
It's a person.
It's a person, sorry.
I thought it was a system, new wellness trend.
Sorry. Dr. Piaget came up with these developmental milestones that are really the most readily accepted, where your brain is going. And then after 25, it was believed, well, that's it. It's the best you're going to get, and it's a downhill from there. Well, there's this great longevity study and another one out of the University of Calgary. One of them started in the 50s, one of them started in the 70s, looking at the brain after 25. And what's really interesting is between 40 and 60, and until we're about 74, if we are healthy, the brain changes again. So there's this part of your neuron called the dendrite, and it's the distal end, the connectivity part of it. Dendrite connectivity really doesn't get interesting until after age 40. And so this interconnectivity of the functional parts of your brain really comes online after age 40. The second thing that happens...
Wait.
Yeah.
Do you think that is the reason why a lot of us at this age now, even let's just say 35 plus, to cover in case somebody's 35 plus in the room, because I'm all about intergenerationality. But do you think that is why we have this sudden burst of wanting to be and do things, and own this time in life and the confidence and, is that the reason why we're sort of coming into our life? It's called middlescence. Like my YouTube channel is called The House of Middlescence.
Well,
so we're now in middlescence.
There's three things that really contribute to that. One is the fact that you can actually have this wisdom when you approach problem solving. Because you actually have this dendrite-driven interconnectivity, so your brain can think globally and systematically and task at the same time. And a 20-year-old can't do that, typically. And you have this wisdom and time of knowing about these things, and you can actually connect the dots in a way that a younger person can't. The second thing is the amygdala, which is the toddler in the sandbox in your brain. It's your emotional hot spot. And if you don't take care of your amygdala, you turn into a 2-year-old having a food tantrum, right? So that's the toddler in the sandbox. It calms down after 40. So you're no longer hyper-reactive to stress, not as much. And so this toddler in your sandbox calms down. You're able to do all these connections and really see different ways that things are going to go. And the third thing is you hit 40 or 50 and you realize you're halfway. And the
I don't think that way. That's interesting. How many of you think that way? How many of you think, oh my God, do you think of it in terms of, oh my gosh, or hey, I have 50 more years, or I'm sorry, 30 or 40 more years? What are you thinking? What was that?
I have 50. I don't know about you.
Just curious.
It's positive.
Yeah.
It's positive for me too.
How long it seems like I have all this time still.
Still, that's how I look at it. Yeah, curious.
That motivation to do becomes this coalescence of, if not now, when?
Yes, absolutely.
So
if not now, when?
I can see all the pieces of it. I'm calm enough to see through it, and I want to do it. So that together is really valuable. And because we don't celebrate this in media, and because we don't, by the way, did any of you see the Oprah special, that neurologist out of California? She's got data. There's other data. I talked to Linda about this for an hour today. There's all this
Linda
data.
should just be in the room, I guess.
She should. She's
Linda, I guess she's here.
My editor is amazing. So in women who go through menopause and the first 5 to 10 years after that do not have hormone replacement therapy support of any kind, lose up to 27% of cognitive capacity.
Now it all makes sense.
And the longer they go without hormones, the higher the risk that they can't get it back. And if we just look at this utilitarian, we have this amazing resource in these incredible women. And by the way, this happens in men as well. So just incredible humans that have longevity and wisdom and a calm amygdala and this desire to I'm going to do these things. And if we don't support them hormonally, our medical system is completely failing them because we're losing them as a national resource. So I love when all of these things coalesce. And then I love that in my practice, I get to fix the missing parts of the body so that they can go and do the fabulous thing.
Yeah.
So that's
it's interesting because you kind of talked about what are bioidenticals?
Bioidenticals.
What are you?
Bioidentical.
Bioidenticals.
Yes.
Okay.
The first hormone replacement therapy that was really widely used was actually a pellet, and it was testosterone, and it was for women. Yeah, and it was in the 1930s.
They did something for us in the 30s?
First. It was for women first.
Shocking.
And then somebody...
Guinea pigs. Oh, jeez, okay.
And then someone figured out that pregnant horse urine could be distilled into estrogen for women.
Say what?
Somebody drank it.
This is like my word of the day. Someone drank.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
No, they
After someone drank it to see if it would work. How bad must her hot flashes have been?
put an ice cube in it. I'm good.
I mean, those were off the chart hot flashes, I'm guessing.
So, any men out there listening, if you don't believe how bad menopause symptoms can be,
Someone drank horse urine. That's
more
how bad.
than once because it was working.
Oh,
Yeah.
you even said yeah. Did you?
Well, it's not that old, it's
Yeah.
technology, it's only recently been replaced. That's how little they.
40s and 50s is when it became. Yeah, they were drinking that horse urine for years, and then they kind of figured out how to distill it down into. Yeah.
Just the thought of that. So, what? What was that?
They put it into a compound, and
Yeah.
you can get it at a compound pharmacy.
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't that they were
HRT included that.
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
pregnant horse urine is not identical to human. It's close, but it's not identical, and so there can be some side effects. And testosterone can be. She's over here neighing.
Did you start a name?
Yeah, that's so good.
We all start name in the room.
And then testosterone can be a synthetic versus a bioidentical. So I use, as much as possible, every now and then I'll reach for a pregnant horse urine because it's the only thing available, but usually I use bioidenticals. And that is from Central American yams. So Mother Nature doesn't use a compound
sounds
once
way better.
and then never again. Oh,
A yam is delicious.
and it's sustainable.
Candied during the holidays.
It's sustainable, and no baby horses were harmed in the making of this stuff.
Yes, exactly. Just baby yams.
So bioidentical is also interused with human identical. And so
What is an identical?
you put it under the microscope and you can't see the difference.
Is that right?
The molecular structure is the same.
So what is it though?
It's
You
estrogen.
can't see it.
It is estrogen or it is testosterone.
Oh, okay. An identical
If
is
I took
okay.
estrogen or testosterone, well, I don't have an ovary. Somebody in here that has an ovary that's working. If I took, you put your hand back down. Sorry. If I took a 20-year-old female's ovary and I drew some testosterone and estrogen, the estrone, estradiol, or the A3 out of it, and I got this Central American yam and distilled the estrogen and testosterone out of it, put it under the microscope, you can't tell the difference. And so the body can't tell the difference, so the binding sites are going to be identical. And so we know how it's going to work, and it's easy to dose up and down, and then we don't get the spillover into other receptor sites and side effects. So as much as we can, we want to mimic what happens in the body when the body is working. So my favorite is actually pellets, because pellet is endocrine mimicry. So when you have a functioning...
You're like a New Yorker now because you're talking really fast.
I get excited.
It's what?
Endocrine mimicry.
Okay.
So this is what that means. When you are 20 and ovulating normally, you have the ovary that's pumping out regular amounts of hormone. And the ovary is a solid organ like your liver or your pancreas or your thyroid. These are solid organs. And the way they work is blood flows past, picks up a hormone, and delivers it downstream. That's how they work, right? Picking it up and taking it down. So you have what's called a basal or a base dose all the time with your resting heart rate. You're always picking some up and delivering it. Then you exercise.
Special
Or
delivery.
you do something big, big ski day, you run a marathon, somebody dies, and you have to like all in, right? You have a big stressor is also increased heart rate. Pain is increased heart rate. So something happens and your heart rate goes up. Now you're picking up more and delivering more.
And that's a problem.
No, it's a good thing. That's what happens when you're younger. That's why runners get a runner's high. That's how you can manage anxiety and depression with heavy exercise when you're younger, because you're dosing yourself with more testosterone. By the way, that's how you can do that. And so when I'm choosing a hormone replacement therapy modality, I really like pellets because it sits in the body and the blood flows past and gives you a basic dose, a nice little basal dose. You exercise, guess what? You get more.
Oh.
You get your heart rate up because it's Friday night, you've had a glass of wine, you're there with your partner, and it's about to be sexy time. You get more. That's a good thing. So that's...
Michelle's like,
So wherever I can, I like to use whatever is as close to what the body did when it was younger. And that's that functional medicine lens. So Western medicine is name it, blame it, and tame it, which is prescribe something for it. And I'm over here going, wait, why did it come off the rails, and can I put it back? So a lot of times when patients will come on with a bunch of meds, and if I can fix the hormones underneath, we start taking away those medications.
give us the analogy of Eastern.
Eastern
You
and
gave
Western.
us what Western is all about.
So like Eastern medicine, if you look at traditional Chinese medicine, a
Just
lot
a
of
quick
that is
blurb.
looking at the energy and where it's stuck and how to fix that. So we're looking again as a system as a whole. European healthcare is all subsidized. So they don't want people fat, sick, and almost dead with cancer. They want them all healthy and cheap. So they do a lot of hormone replacement therapy in Europe.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
By the way, we're tapping into SEX.
Sex.
Baby.
I need a
Let's
song.
talk about it.
Let's talk about sex.
Because the testosterone, I really feel like, I mean. So let's talk about it because I got to remember it's live. So let's.
Don't
And
forget,
recorded.
I have the vagina model.
So I know. So I will be having you speak to these words.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, because why aren't we talking about sex and sexual awareness and sexual or wellness and all the things. I think some of the reason why, and tell me if I'm wrong, is because we don't have the HRTs running through our body, so we forget about it and we don't even want to think about it for years, 10 years, until you are, get a little fixing of. And so is that right? I'm totally scared. So why aren't we talking enough about it?
Well,
At this age.
right. So there's
At 40 plus,
not-
35 plus, 35 plus.
Thank you, Sex and the City, and Just Like That, for changing us from the Golden Girls.
Yeah, I just wish it was better.
And Just Like That. Yeah, first season.
I'm bummed it's not as good as
It's like more
our
about the
Sex
fashion
and the
than
City.
but still, they're talking about
Yeah.
sexuality and sex
Yeah,
and making it a normal
very
thing.
important.
I mean, there was a mutual masturbation scene in
Oh,
one
I
of the
forgot about
episodes this season. Where
Oh, this season. I
yeah.
thought there wasn't
No,
there a lot of sex
There
talk?
was like phone sex. So they were apart and they were missing each other, and so they were on the phone together and they were mutually masturbating together. So there's a scene of that. And I love that normalization of people over 50 are still sexual.
Because sex
so-
never gets old.
So a couple of things. Great sex.
Great sex never gets old. The name of her book for those of you that are watching.
First book, second one's coming out.
Right?
So a couple of things is we're finally getting messages out there that it's okay
Keep going.
to
I'm
be
just gonna lower
sexual if you're over 40, over 50, over 60. Hello, Betty White, over 90. Love her. That was it was sad when we lost her. But there's a bigger issue at hand here, and that is OBGYN and their training. So OBGYN is obstetrics and gynecology. They always do them together. Not almost always. Some are gynecology only because they're pelvic floor reconstruction surgeons. But typically OBGYN.
They're not talking sex, are they, now?
Well, here's the deal.
What?
They do 3 to 4 years of medical school and 3 to 6 years of residency. They spend a grand total of 10 hours talking about perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause hormones.
And you didn't even say menopause.
And
Oh,
I
did
did
you?
in the middle.
You did.
And that is only
10 hours.
at 30% of medical school programs. Only less than 1 in 3. Only 30% of OBGYN programs have any hormone health education at all. And the ones that do have 10 hours or less
Wow.
in up to 8 years. It is shameful. And all the students are saying, we want it, we want it, we want it, and it's still not there. So there's the North American Menopause Society, or NAMS. There is A4M, which is a functional medicine group. There are groups that are I'm teaching.
We have a month.
We're
October
trying-
is Menopause Month.
Yay.
A Menopause Awareness Month, in case you
So-
didn't know that. Yeah.
Your doctor might not know how to help with vaginal dryness and orgasmic delay that is so long that forget it. If it takes too long to get there, never mind. Or the fact that when your testosterone wanes, starting around age 35 in
I think
women.
people are laughing because like, yep.
So when your testosterone starts to fall off 15 years before menopause, so age 35 is when testosterone starts to fall in women. As testosterone falls, you're not just losing muscle tone in your biceps and in your legs, you're losing pelvic floor muscle tone. And when the pelvic floor loses muscle tone, it atrophies. And we always think of atrophy as like up and in. No,
Right.
the pelvic floor falls. And there goes your clitoris up into it. So if you can't reach the clitoris, you can't have an orgasm. So if it's no longer front and center and ready to be stimulated,
Wow.
yeah, you can't find it, you can't get there, and testosterone is important for nerve endings. So people with peripheral neuropathy do really well if we give them some testosterone, because their nerves can get a little bit better.
Wait, how do we know it when it's withdrawn up? I mean, let's just ask the question. What? And can it come back down?
Oh yeah. I have gotten calls.
Does the
From when-
HRT bring it back down?
Well, it never went anywhere. The pelvic floor fell down around it.
Okay,
And
it
then
fell.
as the pelvic floor tightens up with the testosterone, the clitoris can come back out. I've had women call me telling me they're growing a penis. And I'm like, I assure you, you are not, but why don't you come on in and let's have a look, and they're not growing a penis. But the clitoris came back where it's supposed to be, and they're like, but I can't wear jeans this week. It's a little distracting, and I kind of like it.
You should wear jeans that way.
Yeah. So we want, and
Wow.
then the last thing is testosterone is your blood flow. So without testosterone, you can get high blood pressure, and men get erectile dysfunction, which is capillary bed blood flow. Guess what? The clitoris is also erectile tissue. So if we're losing the ability to have a clitoral erection, there goes your orgasms as well. So yeah, that's
Wow.
just, and this is not something your OBGYN is going to be talking about
Okay,
in the
but
middle of
let's-
getting your pap smear. I mean, they just don't know how to have this conversation.
Now, wouldn't
and
you-
then they don't know what to do about it, so they don't ask the questions.
Wouldn't you think that they want to? It's. I mean, back in the day, it was mostly men that were OBG. Wouldn't you think they'd want to learn it so that they're getting it more or something? I don't know. I mean,
You would think.
Do they, or do they just simply don't even know this? Obviously, because if they're only learning 10 hours, they're not getting this.
They
deep.
don't know. They don't. And the most common reason why a healthcare provider won't ask the question is because they don't know what to do with the answer. There's a number one reason why the question is not asked, because they're not.
And
They'll
what would
ask
be
you,
the
you'll tell them, and
question?
then-
What would be the question we would ask our OBG, our OB?
Well, they should be asking you, how
But if
is
they're
your
not-
sexual activity? Have you noticed any sexual dysfunction with the medications you're on, or your age, or your changes in your hormones? That's part
Question.
of regular screening. And
Stand by.
that's not there.
How many of you have had an OB ask that question? Oh, you have good OBs.
And I said, she goes, are you sexually
And she's a
active?
she.
Yeah, she goes, are you sexually active? I go, well, not with anybody else. And she goes, oh my God, I've never had anyone answer that way. And I was like, well, I didn't know if you were asking if, like, I was just letting it dry up. Or if I had an STD. No, I don't have an STD. This is just me.
That is too funny. But out of, I don't know, 20 or so in the room, only 2 have had OBGYNs ask them and wanted to know if you had good sexual activity happening.
They stop there. It doesn't go to the next.
That's it. Oh, so they just asked and they're like, okay,
How many have,
because of what she said.
how many have asked the question when they're in?
How many have asked the question of their OBs?
What can I do about
Well,
my
because
sex?
we didn't know that.
Yeah.
We didn't know that an OBGYN was actually supposed to also know about our sexual health. I don't think I knew that until now.
They're the gynecologist. That's the parts.
Yeah, I think, but didn't we think it was just about the parts and that's it, sadly?
Yeah, but
That's what I thought, it was
That's
just
what
about
they're
the parts.
taught. That's how they manage. And so we've just got this generation after generation of non-functional wellness thinking providers, and I'm trying to turn the tide. But yeah, you should be asking the question of what can I do to have better sex, because I had it before, and then having a real conversation of what's wrong. Is it vaginal dryness? That's an estrogen problem. Is it clitoral engorgement? That's a testosterone problem. Is it pelvic floor, or we have some urinary incontinence with that? That could be a combination of a testosterone problem with an estrogen problem, and we need a pelvic floor physical therapist. It's an actual, you go to the cardiologist, my God, they're gonna put you on a treadmill and you gotta wear a Holter monitor. and
Yeah,
they're
you got
gonna-
all those
Yeah, I mean,
things that they end up leaving
yeah.
you with a couple on your body, and you get home, you're like, they left the stickies on me.
Right. So sexual wellness is just as complicated and involves just as much of a conversation and
Wow.
screening tools. Right.
Kimberly, I have a good question.
Yeah.
So you just are starting to talk about estrogen and testosterone. So because I've heard a lot about like estrogen depletion or whatever, and you're talking a lot about testosterone, which is great. So how do you differentiate between those two, estrogen and testosterone, when they're depleted, and which gives you what if you take a
Repeat the question so that people understand
So
her
for the
question.
people online, the question is,
It's a good question. That was good, Kim. Yeah.
the question is, what's the difference between testosterone and estrogen, and when do we lose each, and a little bit more about them, and what do we get when we get them back? I always like to say hormone replacement therapy is kind of like a country western song played backwards. You get your spouse back, you get your house back, you get your life back, you get your dog back. So I'm
That's funny.
gonna start with when we lose those hormones without surgical oophorectomy. So without surgical menopause, a normal ovulating female will start to lose her testosterone around age 35, and it's just about gone by 50.
What's the percentage of testosterone progesterone and estrogen, like when you're 20?
And repeat it.
How much testosterone?
So I'm going to need a whiteboard for that one. So you get your progesterone in the second half of your ovulatory cycle from an erupted eggs cyst. It's called the corpus luteum. And so that's why in perimenopause women gain weight, because when you didn't ovulate, you have nothing to oppose the climbing estrogen, and you go into estrogen dominance, which is weight gaining pre-diabetic mode.
I feel like I'm in nursing school.
So
This is nursing school.
when we're in perimenopause, our hormones kind of becomes hormone whack-a-mole. But typically women lose testosterone